as he sipped his coffee and ate the dry fruitcake they'd laid out for him. What else could he do? Everyone knew it would rain again. It was only a matter of when. He'd heard it before, from each property owner or manager along his run. Some relying on experience to form their judgment, others on the blind faith that comes from not wanting to consider the alternative. Besides, it always rains after a drought. Not that it was a drought. Not technically. Just a bloody long summer that happened to follow an extremely short winter. Dry, but not dry enough to attract any attention beyond the region. No well-meaning city folk buying a bale out here just yet. He shifted his weight, easing the pressure on his knees. The Hessian bag under them was not there for comfort, but to catch his scent. Fresh tracks showed in the surrounding dirt. The owners had said there was at least one dog watering nearby, and Gabe suspected it might be about the only thing drinking in the area. The sun was at its peak, beating down with relentless force and continuing to suck away whatever moisture still remained in the earth and surrounding scrub. His hands sweated under latex gloves, and tiny black flies danced at his mouth and nose, dodging the sharp puffs he blew at them from pursed lips. All around, a hum echoed, a mixture of fence wires singing along the track he was on and the incessant chirp of cicadas, interrupted only by a thunk as his mattock bit into the ground. But it was easy digging, and his efforts soon ceased. Just a small hole was needed. Gabe wondered how these people could do it, with nothing but hope and resolve keeping them going. He knew what it was to be trapped with your thoughts, and it wasn't as though they could just stay busy to take their minds off things. The dry was everywhere you looked. Country cried out for a drink, and bare dirt greeted his eyes all through this area. The carpet of red, broken by poverty bush and mulga trees, doggedly hanging on. Any other palatable shrubbery had been eaten down to woody stumps by what stock was left. He'd passed a small mob of sheep shortly after leaving the homestead, all hips and ribs, their heads either down searching for the last skerrick of grass, or skywards, straining to trim back the carrara trees even higher. They could have well been looking for rain. God knows everyone else was. Hindsight said the stock should have been sold off months ago. But months ago it was going to rain soon, wasn't it? Slow burn indeed. The hole was the right size. No surprise there. He'd done this 100 times before. Gabe laid the steel trap in its new home, keeping his hands clear of the rubber-coated jaws, particularly the one with deadly strychnine powder wrapped under black electrical tape. He checked the foam beneath the trigger plate one last time, sifted dirt back over the trap until it was buried, and scattered a handful of crushed twigs and leaves onto the disturbed earth, covering all but a patch directly above the plate. A single dried dog scat from the container among his other gear was placed under the bush behind the set, at arm's length past the trap, and a final drop of pungent liquid from his brewing bottle finished the lure nicely. This was the perfect spot, funneled in by broken branches on either side. Any passing dog deciding to investigate the foreign scents had no choice but to walk across the trap, and the only spot to lay a paw without fear of prickles was the bare ground over the trigger. Bang! Gotcha! Another happy station owner, another bounty claimed. One down, hundreds more to go. Gabe stood to admire the work, his knees cracking like gunshots, and he rubbed his hip, knowing that the dull throb would not go away until later when the whiskey bottle came out. He gathered his gear and carried it back to his Land Cruiser, a khaki four-door model all kitted out for bush living, and stowed it in the large white upright toolbox